Hey folks, welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. Apologies about the dryer going off in the background. Clearly just drying some clothes. Anyway, it's match preview time, and in the FA Cup we played this particular team's city rivals in Birmingham City. But this time it is the arguably the bigger of the two Birmingham sides, certainly due to league position, if nothing else, at this current moment in time, and that is Aston Villa. Villa are currently having a very good season, one of the best that they've had in a very long time. They currently sit third in the Premier League. This is not going to be easy, and the game is at Villa Park, which again makes it even less easy. So let's start with the Aston Villa team. Again, I don't know about any injuries or suspensions for them, so I'm literally just going off the players that have played the most for them this season, and it's a relatively consistent team, with some players playing over 2,000 minutes, let alone over 1,000 so far. In goal, Argentinian international Emiliano Martinez. Right back, weirdly Polish international. You wouldn't think that with a name like Matty Cash, but yeah, Matty Cash is a Polish international these days. He'd be at right back. Lucas Digna, highly experienced fullback, currently at Villa, previously at Everton. He's at left back, and then the centre back pairing of Ezri Konsa and Pau Torres. Kind of playing in a defensive midfield role, you've got Boubacar Kamara. To the right, you've got John McGinn. To the left, you've got Emiliano Buendia, a player that we were tracking for God knows how long, but couldn't get, even though he played under Farker previously. In the centre of midfield, you've then got your Tillemans, former Leicester, and then you've got Morgan Rogers in the number 10 attacking midfield role, just behind number 9 Ollie Watkins. Villa have got quite a few players that have scored goals this season. Watkins obviously being the main target outlet up front. But I mean, as I mentioned about the consistency, you have got 3 players that have played over 2,000 minutes in Morgan Rogers, Ezri Konsa and Matty Cash. Ironically, not the goalkeeper in that particular bracket, but he is next, is Martinez, with 1,936. Watkins is on 1,911 minutes. Then there's a little bit of a drop, right down by 300 minutes, surprisingly. Down to McGinn with 1,607. Bit of a drop again. Kamara with 1,418. Digna 1,320. 20 minutes behind him is Tillemans. Almost 100 down from that is Pau Torres, and then Buendia with 1,153 minutes. So it's a relatively consistent side, but in terms of the goals and assists, quite dangerous. Rogers and Watkins have 8 each. Buendia's on 5. Weirdly, I couldn't understand this. They let Daniel Marlin go. He'd got 4 goals and 1 assist in just 646 minutes. He'd only started 5 games, came on as a sub in 16 of them, but when Villa played Leeds at Ellen Road, I thought Mallon was their best offensive player. Easily the most creative and most comfortable on the ball. So that really surprised me. But yeah, so those are the main threats anyway. Rogers, Watkins and Buendia. Need to keep them quiet. McGinn and Cash are on 3 each, goals wise, and and then a player who's not even getting into this particular lineup's got a couple. Amadou Onana, but he's about 12th in the minutes pecking order. So in terms of assists, Rodgers again. He's the one that we've got to keep Rodgers quiet. He's on 8 goals and 5 assists. By the looks of it, he's one of their highest FOTMOD rated players. He's currently 3rd highest. There's only Kamara who's got a better rating. So the FOTMOD rating Rodgers is on 6.92. Oh no, not FOTMOD. What am I? It's a WhoScored.com. Apologies. But anyway, so the WhoScored rating puts Rodgers on 9.62, Kamara on 6.96. Douglas Luiz is the only one higher, but he's only played 251 minutes, so that doesn't really mean anything. So, who could get themselves into that glorious referee's yellow and red card book? For yellow cards, they've got 4 players who are all a bit dirty. Kamara, Bogard, who don't get in the 11, Cash and Rodgers, they're all on 5 yellow cards for the season. They've got 3 on 3, Buendia, McGinn and Digna. Then the rest, it doesn't really matter. In terms of red cards, just the one. That is for Ezri Konsa. Who ironically doesn't have any yellow cards. So he's just had 1 straight red. Wow. Well, according to this at least, anyway. So, maybe that's, maybe Konsa's got a bit of an edge to him that maybe we can target. Konsa doesn't get involved in any goals or assists, so he's not like an attacking outlet from set pieces or anything like that. Whereas Leeds do have some centre-backs that do like to attack the ball. Not saying Konsa's not a good defender, he quite clearly is, but he's not going to be the big physical presence like what Leeds have with some of their defenders. Cash has gotten quite involved with 3 goals and 2 assists so far from right back, but again he's got 5 yellow cards, so he's got a bit of everything in there. It's kind of like the defensive version of Morgan Rodgers, who's on 8, 5 and 5. So that pretty much kind of outlines what we're up against, really. Tillerman's can pull the strings in midfield. He's got 4 assists to his name. So they've got a good squad. It's certainly the best 11, solid as you like, and the 3rd in table. Emirates manager's getting a good tune out of them, unfortunately for us. That's about it with Villa, really. So moving on to Leeds United, the missing out column is getting smaller again, which is quite useful. Obviously, Ella Millier and Alex Cairns miss out. Sam Byram's going to miss out. He couldn't even get in the bloody cup match against Birmingham. So what chance has he got of getting into a Premier League match unless we get drastic fullback injuries? It's just not going to happen, is it? For me, I think Buonanotte misses out. Didn't show a right lot against Birmingham. I think Buonanotte needs to play an under-21 game with us. Just get some competitive minutes in his legs, where it's not quite so crucial, and just get that little bit of match sharpness back. He's not been able to show in the short amount of time he's had so far the kind of player that he is, because he can be a creative little player, there's no doubt about it, but he hasn't shown it in a Leeds shirt just yet. And unfortunately, just the one injury update. Unfortunately, Noah Okafor picked up an injury in the Birmingham game and will miss as a minimum, the Aston Villa game and the Manchester City game. A really bad miss, really, because he's the kind of player that can either start a game or can come on as a sub and can really affect games. He's a very effective player. His sprint stats are very good, and he's clearly a flair player. You know, when he gets on the ball, and he attacks with the ball, he's clearly a very good forward. Um, slash winger, whatever you want to call him. So that would be quite a miss. So going on to the bench, for me, Lucas Perry was excellent against Birmingham, and I kind of take away the fact that it was against a championship team. That championship team gave Leeds as Premier League team, quite a match. And Lucas Perry was a big part of why we stayed in that game. Some excellent saves, really good saves. And I think that this is the opportunity for Lucas to come back into the team, having regained that little bit of confidence and regained a little bit of fan support as well. I think the fans were really appreciative of his efforts in that match against Birmingham. They really got behind him, which was really good to see. And so for me, if you're going to bring Perry back in at any time, this is the time to bring him back in. If he misses out again, despite playing well, I think that could dent his confidence again. And we can't afford to play with an out of confidence Lucas Perry. Carl Darlow seems to adapt to being in and out of a team fairly well because he's been in and out of lineups pretty much all his career. Whereas Perry is kind of used to being a number one, certainly in recent times. And so I don't know. I liked what he did in that Birmingham game, and for me, coming up against Villa's an incredibly tough task, but he's going to have a full strength defence behind him again, or in front of him, I should say. And I just think that makes a difference. So yeah, for me, I'd give Lucas Perry the goalie gloves again after his showing against Birmingham. Fullbacks, self-explanatory. Jayden Bogle and Gabriel Gudmundsson are just doing so well for Leeds this season. Gudmundsson in particular for me, it's just an excellent fullback, excellent wingback, whatever you want to call it. Very unfortunate for James Justin, who has been superb in recent times. I just feel that Justin's the kind of player that's it's very useful to have a player like Justin on the bench because he can cover so many positions and he's a very reliable option. But yeah, for me, just kind of misses out. I'll come back to the rest of the Leeds bench in a moment. So just going back to the starting lineup. The good news with Pascal Struijk, he's back in training. So we should be able to go back to our trusted back three of Joe Rodon, Jakob Jol and Pascal Struijk. Captain Ethan Ampadu and Anton Stack returns from injury as well, which is excellent. So Ampadu and Stack have formed a very good partnership protecting that back line. Both very capable of bombing forward when required. Brendan Aronson, again, just got that energy, hasn't he? It's very difficult to drop Brendan at the moment. He just brings that workhorse, that engine, that drive to just be so determined to keep going and never give up and cover so much ground. And with us not having the likes of Noah Okafor available to be able to, to have that forward thinking momentum about him, and totally different player really. I'm not comparing Noah Okafor with Brendan Aronson, but it's if you haven't got one of those, you tend to you'd like to have the other. As I said, different player, but both have certain similar attributes despite being so different physically. And then I'd just love to see it. I would just love to see us go with a proper two-man strike force of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lucas Metcher. The two of them were free transfers. They're scoring goals for fun. Get them in. Get them in whilst they're confident. And let Gabriel and Jayden get up those bloody wings. and get some balls you've got two focal points there, or give the ball to Ethan or Anton, and even the back three are capable of it. Just get the ball forward. Just get some crossfield passes in, get some forward long balls in there. It's direct play, but it's been working for Leeds this season. I don't think that Villa's centre-back pairing is world class. It's good, but I don't like. If I was to pull out any weaknesses at all with Villa, possibly, and I could be wrong. I don't watch Aston Villa on a weekly basis, but while they've got some very good players in the forward lines and in the midfield, I just wonder about whether maybe Torres and Conser are a little tiny bit vulnerable. Maybe just a smidge. At the end of the day, it's just 11 humans. Like, none of them are freaking gods or anything like that. Yeah, they're having a fantastic season, but any team can be beaten on the day. So for me, I'd be getting those balls up there. Get Lucas and Dom up there. Give Conser and Torres some problems. And let's test these buggers. Let's see if they are as good as they're supposedly made out to be. Because you've got to be a good defence to be able to keep out both Metcher and Calvert-Lewin with the number of goals they're scoring. The two of them are doing just as well as the front line, or almost as well as the front line here with Villa. When you look at the minutes that it's taken Rodgers to get 8 goals and 5 assists, it's 2,320. And look at the minutes it's taken Ollie Watkins to get 8 goals and 1 assist, has been 1,911. Now, if I change this from Aston Villa to Leeds United, and we look at the minutes of Dom and Lucas, when it comes to Dom, he's got 10 goals and 1 assist in 1,671 minutes, which equates to 18 starts and 5 sub-outs. And then you've got Lucas Metcher, who's well down on 691 minutes with 6 goals and 1 assist, that equates to 7 starts and 13 sub-outs. So Leeds' front two are doing just as well as Villa's front two, if not better. So, for me, get those two lads in up front. Let's see what we can do against them. I say this about Leeds all the time. The best form of defence is attack, because we've got players who can score goals. Not saying the defence can't defend, they can do, but look at the reason why we're having to go to a back three instead of a back two, or a back five instead of a back four. We need that defensive solidarity, which is brought by having that extra defender on the pitch. I mean, thankfully we've got some very good defensive midfielders with Ampadu and Stark, that can really protect that back line. And in terms of the bench, Carl Darlow, James Justin, Seb Bornau, Ilya Gruev, Sean Longstaff, Outanaka, Dan James, Wilfred Nonto and Joel Pirro. It's quite a solid bench. I mean, when we get Noah Okafor back, like if the entire squad is fit, that is very difficult then to decide who misses out. Obviously, Melier and Cairns are going to miss out for the most part. Byram's going to miss out for the most part. And with Buonanotte being a lone player, and a lone player that's not really up to full fitness yet, probably he misses out as well. So then you look at the lineup and you're thinking, right, who is the one other player that's going to miss out here? I'm not so sure at that point. So there we go. But I'll leave it at that, folks. Big thank you for watching. Do please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do also please give the video a thumbs up, like and a hype. I will give you a match review hopefully we come away with 3 points. But I would take a draw. I'm going to go 1-1 for this one as a score prediction. But yep, in the meantime folks, enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time. Bye for now.